Good morning. It is January the 27th. It's cold. Over in Reno County, we had a couple inches of snow, but the time I hit the county line driving over here this morning, it had pretty much cleared off, and the streets in Wichita were clear. No problems. On our calendar this week, on Monday, we celebrated the feast of the conversion of St. Paul. At time when we remembered St. Paul's Damascus Road experience and his being knocked to the ground and confronted by the risen Christ in some way. The Monday before, on the 18th, we had celebrated the feast day of the Confession of St. Peter, when St. Peter at Caesarea Philippi proclaimed Jesus as the Messiah. Now, these two feast days are tied together in many ways, but what I'm thinking of today is it used to be the tradition that the Sunday that fell between these two feast days was known as Seminary Sunday. Theological Education Sunday, Seminary Sunday. And if you were near a seminary, you often would invite a seminarian in to preach, which could be bad or good. I remember looking through the old service registers of a former parish of many years beforehand when the rector, I think 2 rectors back at that point, had celebrated Seminary Sunday by inviting a seminarian to come to that church and preach from the local seminary. And in the service register for that day, where we keep track of what service we've done and how many people were there and so on and so forth, in the remarks column over here, he had written down, "Most horrendous heresies preached." Most horrendous heresies preached. It'd be interesting to know what the sermon was. On the next Sunday, the priest there, the rector, in the remarks column of the service register wrote, "Corrected previous week's heresies." Well, heresies come and go, I think, and we seem to sometimes worry about them and other times not to. But one person's heresy may be another person's orthodoxy. So we have to be careful about names we throw around at people. There's a lot of name calling that goes on these days in the church and outside the church. We have names for people we disagree with. We demonize or dehumanize people who are on the opposite side of our argument. We diminish their humanity if we can. And yet, I think that would be heresy. Because in our baptismal vow in the Episcopal Church, we promise to respect the dignity of every human being. And I think we need to hold that up as a goal these days, especially when we see so many arguments and disagreements and choosing up sides and all of that, that we be very careful that we're not dehumanizing people. We need to remember that each of us, those who agree with us and those who don't, we're all created in the image of God. And so if we're dehumanizing, if we're demonizing people, then we're demonizing or dehumanizing that image of God within them. And that is wrong. There's nothing wrong with debating issues. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing on issues. But when we do, let's at least maintain the respect and dignity of the other person. And I know that's gotten difficult these days because it's so easy to anonymously make comments on Facebook or Twitter, and we don't have to kind of assume responsibility for those comments. But it is still, I think, heresy. Now, heresy is not unforgivable. We all need to change, and we're all probably a little bit heretical. We all have our pet heresies, if you will. But I think one that we can work on, one that we must work on, is the heresy of demonizing someone who disagrees with us. I hope the way forward these days in our society, even in our church, is to be able to love those who disagree with us, to care about those on the other side of the argument, to be open to their humanity. Maybe not what they believe, but at least to their humanity. And to treat them as fellow brothers and sisters created in the image of God. I have no clue who the seminarian was that preached in my congregation many years ago that spoke so many heresies that the rector hated to correct them. I suspect that we have, all of us, spoken heresy from time to time. I probably have. Well, I know I have. But I still feel loved by many people, and I hope you do too. So today, let's make a deal with each other. Let's find ways to respect and care about those who disagree with us. Let us find ways to get past our divergent opinions and see the face of God in our brothers and sisters. I think until we do that, we're going to be stuck where we are. We're going to be stuck in our respective camps, unwilling to reach across the aisle to shake a hand or to offer a hug. Let's not be so heretical that we can't love our neighbors as ourselves. Let's not be so heretical that we can't accept each other as children of God. Let's not be so heretical as to believe the other does not count. So, my fellow heretics, let's find a way to love one another, to care about one another, and to express that in very concrete ways. So I wish you a great day and a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday. God bless. Have a good day.